Do you ever get randomly motivated to play a game you haven't thought about in ages? Today that game is Fallout 76 is a 2018 action role-playing game developed and published by Bethesda. The game had a very poor launch, releasing in quite frankly an unacceptable state and was hated by most people. However, it has come a long way since it was released just over 5 years ago. With an estimated 100 hours to complete the Platinum Trophy, I was eager to jump back into it, and to start things off I left Vault 76 to pick up my first of 51 trophies. I'm going to say this one time while the majority of viewers are still watching and haven't clicked off. The game runs very poorly on old gen consoles, suffering from extremely low FPS at times, and my game actually crashed roughly 6 or 7 times filming this. I guess it's just a poorly optimized game still. With that out of the way, I picked up trophy number 2 by completing 5 challenges, followed shortly by a trophy for taking 20 photos. I based my character off myself if you're curious. And if you're traumatized, I apologise, but we get the next trophy for placing down my first camp. In the camp, placing 20 random objects got me another trophy. Unlike me, this was planned and I was able to finish quite a lot of trophies before doing any of the quests. I crafted my first weapon, gathered 200 pieces of junk, completed 20 challenges, crafted 5 pieces of armour and built 100 camp items. Now it was time to tackle some of the story side of the game. On the way to my first set of quests, I maxed out my first perk card for a trophy. I chose to do this with a card that gives me additional XP because I would be slowly working towards the more time consuming trophies as I played the game. You know how story quests go in all Bethesda games, you go here, you grab this and you kill them. So that's what I did for a while, picking up 3 quest trophies back to back. In terms of putting points into special abilities early on, I was just putting as many points as I could into intelligence, and that helped me hit level 10 for another trophy. I was on an absolute mission to finish these quests as fast as possible because I've already done them before, so I beat the Into the Fire storyline for the next trophy, before finding my first bobblehead for an additional trophy. Bobbleheads basically give you a limited time stat boost or effect, and I will need to collect more of these later. But for now the quest completion continues with the Key to the Past trophy, followed by completing Coming to Fruition. During these quests I also managed to rack up 300 kills on creatures for another trophy. Since I was prioritising points into intelligence, I hit level 25 quite quickly. I did do 2 more quest related trophies, before taking a short break to focus on some of the easy random trophies left. Since I didn't want to grief random players for this trophy, I called on Bobrid to help me with the player related trophies. While doing this, someone random called Richard turned up and offered to help too, and I got the trophies for killing another player, killing 20 players and reviving 20 players. I wanted to give Richard a PSN gift card for being kind and helpful, but he gracefully declined it, so if you live in the UK, here it is instead. That was the last time we saw Richard, but I picked up another story related trophy before slapping a Scorched named Evan to death to unlock one more trophy. Now these next 2 quests weren't actually main story related, but rather daily quests, but I needed to do it anyway, so I completed the first one by analysing some DNA, and the second one by hunting down and extracting tissue sample from a creature. Now this next trophy requires you to mod 50 weapons, so like the sane person I am, I made 50 boards, spiked. Mistress of Mystery is the next trophy, and I was relieved to get this as it's very long winded and has about 7 side quests in total before you get the trophy. My progress slowed slightly in this section of the game. I'm now required to take down a certain amount of flying creatures. The biggest issue with that is I've chosen to be a melee build so I don't have to worry about ammunition, but since they fly, it's like Batman waiting for a flying superhero to land so he can fight them. Good old Bethesda threw me a bone though, and the Scorched Beast decided to kill itself way off in the distance. You can say what you want about the game, but my encounters with random players across the years have been mostly positive, and this guy was kind enough to let me kill him to collect his bounty for the next trophy. After that, someone launched a nuke, spawning one of the endgame bosses I needed to kill, the Scorched Beast Queen. The FPS is quite poor here with so many people at once, but killing it and finishing the event was how I got one more trophy. I finally finished the quest for killing Scorched Beast 2. This means the post-apocalyptic Batman can stick to fighting grounded opponents for a while. I don't actually remember what I was doing here, but someone random joined my team and it gave me the trophy for joining 20 teams. After completing the Enclave questline, I gained the ability to launch my own nuke. Armed with my keycard and launch code I had acquired, I was able to launch it after fighting through some enemies. We're well and truly in the endgame content now, and I'm just cleaning up trophies from here. To start the cleanup, I discovered 100 locations, before finding and reading 20 magazines, and then finally collecting 10 bobbleheads. Next I played a minigame on the Pip-Boy, before picking 50 locks for one more trophy. This next trophy is actually kinda sad. Monster Mash is unlocked by winning a player versus player event called Monster Mash, but nobody really does it anymore, so I just sat alone in a corner until the time ran out, and I won and unlocked the trophy since no one else joined. Following on from that, I had to complete one more event named Breach and Clear, before finishing hacking 50 terminals. This now puts me 5 trophies away from the Platinum Trophy. Up next, I took a trip to West Tech. Basically, this is a building full of super mutants that give very good amounts of XP, and travelling between the floors in the buildings resets the enemies, which is great for farming. And shortly after arriving, I unlocked my first trophy for hitting level 50. The super mutants also dropped some of the in-game currency, which is how I got my second trophy in the building for picking up 10,000 caps across my playthrough. I got my third and final trophy in this building by hitting level 100, and I could say goodbye to the super mutants for good now. So where does that leave us? My final trophy is for being at ground zero of a nuke. So I launched my nuke, and here I was trying to get a cinematic ending to the video. It took me 37 hours for me to get the Platinum Trophy. I've created a poll that you can still vote on for now to decide my next video. If you have any suggestions or feedback, please let me know.